Hello and welcome to Yoga with Carolynne. My name is Carolynne and this is Nala. Today's practice is a yin yoga practice for stress relief. I know for myself, when I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed, it can come from a place of other people having expectations of me or having deadlines to meet or just having a lot going on. And the yin yoga practice is a really wonderful antidote to that. It's a really peaceful, really slow, really kind of surrendering practice where nobody's asking you to do anything. There's no judgment. It's simply a welcoming space. So today's short yin yoga practice is just going to be comprised of 3 yoga poses, but definitely a space where you can just be you and relieve a little bit of stress. Welcome to Yoga with Carolynne, teaching yoga students how to find more comfort and presence in life through the lessons of gentle hatha and yin yoga, no matter your shape or ability to touch your toes. Hello my darlings and welcome to your yoga mat. So for today's practice, the props that you're going to want to have are a blanket. So a folded up blanket is going to be really helpful, and a yoga block. It's funny, if you take a look at a lot of YouTube yoga practices, it says in the caption, no props needed. In the interest of, however, making sure that this practice is as accessible and as supportive for you, props are really helpful. So for my curvy folk, for my low mobility folk, for my healing from recent injury folks, props are going to be a really helpful tool so that you can still get on your yoga mat and you can still practice and feel supported. So if you don't have any yoga props at home, a blanket can be easily replaced with a towel, and a yoga block can be easily replaced with a couch cushion or a pillow off of your bed or a really heavy book. So we're going to start in today's practice right here in a comfortable seat with the folded up blanket underneath of your sit bones. So I'll just show you how I like to really set myself up so that the seated position is comfortable. So you'll place the folded up blanket underneath of your sit bones and then kind of walk yourself forward so that then you're almost sitting on the edge of the blanket so that you feel a little bit of a tilt in your pelvis and a nice natural curve in your low back. And then finding yourself in your comfortable shape, either cross-legged or having one foot behind and then one foot in front of the other. Placing your hands wherever is comfortable. Finding your length in your spine. And then allow yourself to arrive. If it feels okay, the eyes come to a close as you start your practice just by checking in. Taking this moment to really honestly and truthfully acknowledge how it is that you've shown up on your mat. And if it is that you are feeling stressed or overwhelmed or disconnected, letting that be okay. Welcoming that instead of resisting it as you arrive. And as an anchoring tool, allow your awareness now to come towards your breath. When your body is stressed, you tend to breathe in the upper chest, really shallow breathing, which does in turn affect the rest of the body. It affects the heart rate, it affects the nervous system. But you have the power to be able to actually use your breath for good. So allow your breath to be sent deeper down into the belly. Allow your belly and your ribs to expand as you inhale. And as you exhale, you really take the time to let all of that breath go, those deep exhales signaling to the body that you're okay. Taking a few more deep breaths just like that. It's okay if it feels a little kind of clunky or foreign to start off. Be patient, be kind with yourself. And we'll get ready to come into your first shape. So if the eyes are closed, just slowly fluttering into the eyes. You don't have to move too far from where you are. We're coming into a wide-legged forward fold. So staying exactly as you are with your sit bones on that blanket, and then opening up into the legs, allowing the feet to come out to either side. Thanks, Nala. And then this is where your yoga block might be really helpful. So you can place your block in front of you, then take whatever wide stance with your feet will feel comfortable. It doesn't have to be super duper wide. So if the back of your knees feel at all uncomfortable, you can start the practice with having a little bit of a bend in your knees. And then as the shape goes on, you will be able to find some stillness. And then your block is in front of you for something. Maybe your forehead will come down onto the block. If the forehead doesn't come comfortably down towards the block, especially since this is the first shape, you can stack a couple of fists onto that block to raise the floor up even more. You can also just allow the hands to come down and allow your forehead to just be wherever it is. So if you are new to the yin yoga practice, yin yoga poses are held for a few minutes. And the reason for that is because we are doing a few different things. So one, we are using the stillness of the practice to, again, allow the nervous system to switch from that fight or flight mode to tap into instead the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite of that stressful nervous system. And then physically in the muscles and in the tissues of the body, you're not only creating space in the actual muscles of the body, but you're connecting into the fascia, the connective tissues around and between the muscles. So in order to get to that place of creating space there, it takes time. So stay with that breath that you cultivated at the very beginning in that seated position, and explore how you can use that breath to your advantage here. Maybe as an anchoring tool if the mind would benefit from having something else to focus on. Or maybe to create a little bit more space in the body by sending the breath somewhere that might feel good. Forward folds are really the epitome of surrendering and softening, which can be really helpful when you're feeling stressed. You're feeling like you're having to control a lot of things, spin a lot of plates. Instead, this opposite sensation of softening, maybe softening the grip on control, and sensing into instead that allowing things to unfold. Maybe letting go of maybe a few of those spinning plates. We'll get ready to slowly release out of the shape. Move really slow. If the palms have been flipped up towards the sky, flip the palms back down. Press into the hands. The head comes up last. So again, take your time, nice and slow here. We're really slowing things down. Once you bring yourself upright, take a second and just pause and notice. Noticing that pose and the sensations kind of dissipate and fall away. And then bringing the hands underneath of the knees to release into the legs. Bring those knees in nice and close. It might feel good to kind of hug the knees in and curl up into a ball. And then we'll get ready to come into our next shape, which is supported fish pose. So we've targeted into the legs, and now we'll bring the attention back up towards the upper back. We tend to tighten up into the shoulders, into the chest when we're feeling stressed. So this will be a nice release for that. So placing your blanket towards the back end of your yoga mat. So still folded up. And then taking your block and placing it so that it's got a little bit of space in between the blanket and the block, and placing the block in this long position, but in its lowest height. We're going to be lying back down onto these two props. So turning so that you're facing the front end of your space. Extending the legs long in front of you. And then allowing yourself to lie back down onto those props. So once you do lie back down, opening the arms up into a T shape, or if you're in a tiny space, cactusing into the arms. So bending into the elbows, the palms are open towards the sky. So that block hits about mid to top back. So the bottom of the block about mid back, and the top of the block towards the top of your shoulder blades. And then that blanket is there to support the head, coming into a really beautiful heart opener. You can keep the legs as they are. If your low back is feeling a little sensitive after the last shape, you can bring a bend to the legs, soles of the feet on the mat. Just kind of pick up into the hips to lengthen into the low back, and then bring the hips back down. Or if you want to come into a full body stretch, you can bring the soles of the feet together and knees open wide, diamond shape with the legs. Eyes come back to a close. Encourage some softness into the face. Notice if your jaw would appreciate a little bit of release, or the tongue. Softening into the eyebrows. Allowing those exhales to be really long, really smooth. If you find that your mind is wandering or feeling chattery or thinking about other stuff, first be kind, be patient, be compassionate to yourself. And then invite your attention, your awareness to come back to the sensations in the body, to that deep breath as it moves in and out. Remembering that you came to your yoga mat to give yourself some attention and love. We'll get ready to slowly release out of the shape. So to release out of that shape, bring the hands behind your head to tuck the chin in towards the chest. Keep that chin tucked in towards the chest as you place the arms alongside the body to then press yourself up. Move the props out of the way. You're going to want to make sure that you still have that block nearby. And then making your way all the way back down onto your back, so that blanket can stay behind your head if that's an added comfort, or it can move out of the way as you bring yourself back down onto your back. Noticing how the physical body feels. And then we'll come into the last shape, coming into supported bridge pose. So using that block again, the legs are bent, soles of the feet are on the mat. Press into the feet, lift the hips up, slide that block underneath of your hips. We'll mention that I do have pose tutorials for this pose and the last pose, and I'll leave them in the description box below. Placing your block right underneath of your sacrum, so that spot right in between the squishy part of your butt and the bony part of your spine, your back. And you can choose here what you'd like to do with the arms. There's no perfect way, so place your arms wherever is comfortable. If you really want to come into that surrendering, that softening, palms open towards the sky, it's going to come into that. Legs can stay as they are, soles of the feet on the mat. You can extend into the legs long if you'd like to find a stretch into the front line of the body. If you're feeling like you still need a little bit of grounding, a little bit of added help of anchoring, you can bring the palms face down on the belly as you use that connection of belly and hands to watch the rise and fall of your belly as you inhale and as you exhale. Feeling stressed is hard. It can bring with it lots of different emotions. Anger, frustration, guilt, shame, sadness. So instead of really trying to force those emotions out of you, away from you, see if you can just welcome all of those emotions. The interesting thing about surrendering into emotions is that eventually they do pass. If you welcome it, it will pass. Exploring what physical sensations arise when different emotions are present in the body. Exploring what happens when you send your breath to those spots to invite softness, invite care. To release out of this shape, pressing into the soles of the feet to lift the hips up towards the sky, move that block out of the way and bring your hips back down. Bring the knees in towards the chest, hug those knees in nice and close. And then extending into the legs. Coming into your corpse pose, your final relaxation, Shavasana. So if you want, you can cover yourself with a blanket here. making just this shape a really, really comfortable one. Allowing your palms to open up towards the sky. Allow your breath to just come back to its natural rhythm. If you've been feeling stressed or overwhelmed, you've most likely been doing a lot of things. So let this moment, let this time be your time to instead be. Simply be. Nobody's asking you to do anything. There's nowhere you have to go, no deadlines you have to meet. Just be. Slowly bringing the awareness back into the body. Deepening the breath and bringing some tiny movements into the fingers and toes. Taking an inhale to stretch the arms up overhead, stretching from fingertips all the way down into the toes, and then the knees come in towards the chest. As the knees come in towards the chest, rocking from side to side to eventually make your way onto one side of the body. Bringing your head onto your arm. And then slowly pressing yourself back up into a comfortable seat. Bringing your hands into your heart center, pressing the palms together, thumbs are pressing in towards the heart. And before you roll up your yoga mat and go on with the rest of your day, you can decide to choose to bring something with you that really helped during today's practice. Bring that with you as you go on with the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, the rest of your week. Allowing what happens here on your yoga mat to help you when you're off of your yoga mat. And then taking one last breath with me, inhale. Exhale at the mouth, let it go. Slowly opening into the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me during today's Yin Yoga for Stress Relief. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to support more free online and accessible yoga. From my heart to yours, until next time, namaste.